Welcome to the 2022 Success Path. I am the author of the Success Path, Coach Tony Collis. I specialise in up-leveling women in tech. And over the next 5 days, we are going to be putting together a plan to transform your life in 2022. And I really mean that. I don't take your success or your faith in me and this process lightly. Many of us love to plan every January, but all too often we do the plan, then it dies a slow, dusty death on a virtual shelf, collecting electrons and nothing else. So let's make this year the last year that happens, okay? The Success Path planning process that I'm about to share with you is a process that I go through every year myself, and in fact every quarter, every month and every week, as you'll find out as we go through this process this week. It always ensures success for me. I've honed and refined it over the years. I've been using the same principles actually for over a decade, which have, of course, resulted in some crazy success for me if you know anything about me, such as getting to the C-level within 7 years of finishing my PhD, and also launching a business that replaced my corporate income within just 3 months. But before we dig into that today, I want to cover some principles of planning to set you up for success. I've tried most of the planners out there, many of the planning systems. I have a whole cupboard full of planners that I've bought. I've read many of the books on the subject, possibly all of them, I doubt it, but many of them. And with all that under my belt, here are some things that I know to be fundamentally true about planning. Number one, there is no perfect planning tool other than the one that you create for yourself. That is actually precisely why the workbook that you're going to be using as we go through the 2022 Success Path planning process is actually available for you as a Google Doc, so you can customize it. I got the 12 months of the year mapped out for you in there, but feel free to tweak it as you need it. Try things. Do please give them a go for a little while, but if it isn't working for you, update the prompts, add some stuff, remove other things. You can access a PDF as well, and I encourage you to do that if that's the way you want to work, but I really encourage you to adapt. Some people also love digital planning, while others love writing it down on paper. There's no one size fits all. Do what works for you. Number two, this planning process is not the same thing as your day-to-day activities. Sure, you'll make priorities each week and hopefully you'll use those every day that you work. But this is not a replacement for a master to-do list or your project planning at work. I personally do all my project planning and day-to-day task management digitally in Notion. I've previously used Asana and Trello for my day-to-day task management, both of which I still use in my team, but I use Notion for that big picture. But it is very different from what you're going to be doing in this planning workshop. Do not mix the two up. Number three, you need to plan personal, professional goals. Your business planning is probably already taken care of for this year. You can use this planner for work if you wish, and I certainly know many entrepreneurs who've adapted my process and do exactly that. But a business plan as a tech leader will require a few different things and won't be about you personally. Having said that, your employer doesn't care about your personal professional goals other than because they are a nice person or they want to keep you happy. It's your job to own this. The majority of my clients who pay for coaching with me themselves instead of having their boss pay for it actually pay me precisely because they recognize they need to take ownership of their future. So start owning yours today. Lean into this planning process as a way to build your professional success and as a result, your personal happiness too. After all, we spend the majority of our lives working, so we really should have professional success that makes us happy. Whatever success means to you, by the way. Number four, planning requires you to know your why. It's very easy to come up with a post why after you've written a goal. However, a far better approach is to come up with a compelling why first, and we're going to be digging into that one in just a moment. Number five, planning requires decisions. A lot of people fail to decide and then fail. Decide what's important. Hold just one priority item at a time, 2 mini goals in addition, but decide. If you're feeling vague or unclear, you'll fail to succeed. This is one of the few things in life that I believe is pretty much set in stone. Decide if you want to thrive and then decide. Number six, success comes when you detach from the outcome and focus on the process. You may know in corporate speak that there are lead measures and lag measures. The lag measures are what keeps us up at night, such as meeting revenue goals, but the lead measures are the behaviors and actions that actually ensure success, such as delivering a product to the required specification or reaching out to 2 new people every week. The same applies to our personal goals. The process is the lead measure, and really that's what we have to love. Sure, there may be times when you don't love everything that you're doing every day, but you know the end goal is worth it. But those day-to-day tactics overall must be positive. That's where the good stuff comes from. Number 7, stay consistent. Taking action today is going to be easy. In 2 weeks, not so much. I strongly encourage you to find a coach or at least an accountability partner. If you're in the Leading Women in Tech community in Slack, ask for someone to be an accountability partner who you can then check in with weekly on your top of mind goals and actions. And my most important one, number 8, celebrate. All my clients know celebrating is mandatory, and for good reason. What we focus on multiplies, and when we celebrate, we focus on what we want more of. It's also a great recalibration for our natural tendency as humans to quickly forget the successes we have. When faced with having to answer this question, what am I celebrating? You can always find something. And so weeks when otherwise you're struggling to find something that has gone well, you will still have a positive outlook, be more optimistic, and ultimately more likely to continue doing what we are doing, those important lead measures, and achieve success. So those are my 8 principles of planning. 1, there is no perfect planning tool other than one you create for yourself. 2, this planning process is not the same thing as your day-to-day planning activities and task list. 3, you need to plan personal professional goals. 4, planning requires you to know your why. Number 5, planning requires decisions. Number 6, success comes when you detach from the outcome and focus on the process. Number 7, stay consistent. And number 8, my personal favorite, celebrate more. But let's get into what your planning actions for today are. That's why you're watching this video, right? If you haven't already, make sure you grab a copy of the 2022 Success Path Planner. If you're just watching this video and you actually haven't signed up for the challenge, then make sure you head to tonycollis.com/successpath. Link is below this video, and sign up for the challenge so that you can make sure that you get the copy of the Google Doc. It makes your life so much easier, and it's completely free. Then today's task is the hardest, but potentially also the shortest task of the week. Today, we're simply putting together your why. Maybe it's easy for you, some people find this hard. On page 2 of the planner document, you're going to find a box to fill in on the page entitled Dreams, Theme, Vision and Priorities, identifying your why. All I want you to do is to spend some time getting in touch with what you want and why you want it. Your why could be big and huge, such as changing the world in some fundamental way. Hey, I'm totally down for that. For example, my personal mission in life is to make the world of tech more diverse and inclusive. It's huge. That's why I do what I do though. I can't do that in 1 year, but it is in my vision and it is what I'm going after. So it goes in my planner on this page every year. But it doesn't have to be that big and audacious or grandiose. Maybe you just want to be more content in your job. That's your driving why. Great. What does that look like to you? Let's get specific. What does content look like? If you're struggling with this one, in fact, here are some tools I love to use and which are really good for things where you can't quite describe what you want. If you have a word of the year, I am a big fan of words of the year, brainstorm processes that are aligned with that word. See what that brings out. What is important to you? A great one also is, what is your vision? What do you want your life to look like in 5 to 10 years? From there, it's often much easier to paint our actual vision rather than just what our life looks like. What makes you feel good? What do you want more of? What would your perfect day look like? I love to write that one out and understand what it is that will get me there. Maybe it's retired on a beach somewhere. That's great, but get specific. Where is the beach? What will you be doing when you're not on the beach? Why will you be doing it? Who's around you? Why are you all there? The more specific you can get on any theme and dream bigger and better, it will help you shape your plan, but it also provides you with motivation on the hard days, which yes, are going to come. The other thing I love to do is to write an anti-vision. So if you're struggling with your vision, try writing out what you would not want your life to look like in 5 to 10 years time. And from there, you can quite often figure out what you do actually want and care about. So that's your task for today. Fill in that dream, theme, vision box. Dream big, my love, because big things are possible for you. Tomorrow, we're going to be digging into step 2, where we'll be taking some time to look back and reflect. It gets easier from here. I think honestly, although it's the shortest bit, the why is the hardest bit of this entire process. I'll see you tomorrow.